Well, this recording is for Report Designer Basics. We're going to learn the layout of Report Designer, report types, the folder structure, how to execute a report, schedule a report, and email a report. So first of all, you're going to be in Student Information. Breadcrumb trail is Student Information, Local, Report Designer. Sorry about that. In the menu, you'll see Local and Report Designer. So you get in a Report Designer, this is the layout. I'm going to go over all of that information with you. This plus sign here is the Report Creations Wizard. If you click on it, you'll be able to choose between an Express Report, Express View Report, which is a way to get answers during a drag and drop in a highly interaction design. To be able to build an Express Report to quickly create tabular reports with essential operations like sorting, filtering, and calculations, easily format and summarize data. Advanced reporting is familiar Excel-like design grid with access to advanced functionality like charts, maps, formula, editor, and conditional formatting. Crosstab report is an intuitive crosstab wizard to simplify the process of creating complex tables with summary results grouped in both rows and columns. Up here is your report tab. So if I have a report open and I'm working on it, you'll see more than one tab up here. And if you hover to the right of it, you'll see a little X, and that would be to be able to close that tab. So as you are designing reports and running reports, there would be a tab for each one of those across here, and you would simply close the tab by clicking Yes. Here you can search for reports. So I can come in here and just put in attendance. And it's going to pull up any report that has to do with attendance. So I'm able to find it quickly and execute the report. I can also say, use this little 3-dot menu here on the end. If I want to look for a report that may include the description, as you see down here, if I'm on a report, there's a description. So it's going to look in here. So I can come in here and check that. And it's going to search the name and the description. So I'm going to just type in the word summary. And anything that has summary in the report or in the description. So here you can see that it says monthly absence summary by building, but here it just says absence detail. And if I click on that, you can see down here in the detail, the word summary is there. So that's a good way to find a report if you can't find it the first way. Go ahead and X out of that. This is your shortcut to manage any scheduled reports that you might have out there. I'll show you a little bit more about that later when we talk about scheduling reports. Excuse me. These are all the folder lists and the description box. When you click on a report, you will see that on there. So let's talk about report types and the folder structure. So the My Reports folder here is a holding area for your user reports. So every user has a My Report. So as you're creating documents or working on documents, it's a good place to keep it right here so that you have access to your reports and nobody else has access to them But you can excuse me, share that report once you create it. And we'll go over that in a different session. The pending reports folder is a holding area for users who can create reports and distribute them to other module folders. Typically, users who have access to this folder will be like district power users or ITC support. So if you're writing a report and you can't figure out what you're doing incorrectly, you can actually duplicate your My Report over to Pending Report and put in a ticket to HCC, and we can look at that report and help you work through those issues that you're having. Now, the rest of these folders were created, all these folders were created by Software Answers. However, all of these reports here currently just house those reports created by Software Answers. So as you can see, there's folders and then there's subfolders within those. Every one of these folders have an admin folder, and that's a good place. That's where you're going to store any report that you create for your district for other users to run. You would want to, so if you do an attendance report, you'd want to put it under the attendance file and then under the admin file so that other users can get to that. As you can see, these reports all have locks on them. So you're not able to edit the report or change the report. In order to change a report or update it to something that your district would like, you can duplicate that report, save it to your My folder, do your updates, and then blast it out under the admin file for others to use. But if it has a lock on there, you're not going to see that edit button. Typically, there's an edit up here. So next, we're going to talk about running a report from Report Designer. It will end up looking a lot like the reports that you run through an Analytics Hub, but I'll show you how to do one here. So I'm going to do the daily absence detail. I can either just click the little play button here and it'll launch it. I can also click the menu and hit Run Report. I can choose how to export it right away without running the report first, and schedule or email a report. So let's go ahead and I'll show you how to export it right away so it doesn't run the report and then you have to export it. You can just automatically export it. So I'm going to do the export as a CSV file. It's then going to run me through the filter. So here's the school year, and they're saying that the school year needs to be equal to 2019-2020. That is correct. The school name is set to equal to, but if I want to change where I can run it for more than one building, I would come down and choose is one of from the condition or the operator. So I'm going to choose is one of. You can see that I can choose it. I'm going to come to my drop-down box over here. I'm going to click the high school and the middle school. And then it's asking me for the status name. So, and it's saying it's one of, because a lot of people have more than one student status that they'd want to run this for. I'm going to choose the drop-down box again. I'm only going to run it for active student. There's like open enrolled and homeschooled and all that stuff, but I'm just going to run it for active for now. And then all I do is click OK. and it's formatting it. It's creating the document, telling me it's complete. And then down here in my window, you can see that that report is completed. I can open it up in Excel and make all the changes or formats that I want done with. Also, if I click just run report, it's going to walk me through those same filters again. So I'm going to choose the school name. This time I'm only going to run it for one. And student status, I'm going to change it to active again and just click OK. It's going to run the report and put it into this file here. And then I can just say, I can save it, or I can export it into a CSV or RTF file. I can look for a student's name in here. It's going to take me to all the Smith. If you notice, I'm on page 183, so it's not looking just at one page. I'm going to go ahead and exit this report up here on the Close tab. So typically, I like, if I'm running a report from out here, I will automatically just do it as an export. That's what I'm going to end up doing anyway. So why run the report, then hit export? I just go ahead and go to export into the file format that I want. I'm going to copy this report real quick so that I can show you a little bit more about filtering. I'm going to click on duplicate. It's going to ask me where I want to put it. I'm going to put it under my report. I'm going to leave it the same name, and I'm going to click OK. Now you see that that report is in my report file. Now that I hit the menu button, you can see that there is an edit here, so I could edit this report. I'm not going to go into editing right now. There is another recording for that. I'm going to come in here. I have to move something here out of my way. I can run the report from here. I can export it from here as well. But let's go into the filter section so we can talk a little bit more about the operators. When you're setting up a report, you choose from this area over here and bring them over, and you decide which one you want to do, which category you want to filter on. But here are the different operators. So you have equal to, not equal to, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, starts with, not starts with, ends with, does not end with, contains, doesn't contain, is in between, which is nice for running dates, is not between, is one of, or is not one of. So let's go to this status for a second. If I was running a report and this came up and says, choose your statuses, and I wanted to choose all of them except for, let me choose the school name. I want to choose all of them except for inactive. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to choose is not one of, so I don't have to choose 5 different statuses. I can say is not inactive withdrawn. So it's going to, since I'm putting is not inactive withdrawn, it's going to pull students with the status of active, workplace, and open enroll from another district. I'm going to go ahead and hit cancel on that. Let's go back to that real quick. Down here with this choice of and with next filter or with next filter, that's a more advanced filtering, which I will do a report or a recording on down the line. You can group it with the next filter, and you can choose whether to prompt the value or not. So if I copy this over and make some adjustments to this report, and it's going to be a district report, and I know every time that this report is ran, that the user should be, let me choose the tool again here, that the user should be using active, workplace, and open enrolled. I can uncheck this prompt for value, and this filter will run in the background without the user having to make those choices. So I know we all get those calls that are like, I don't know which status to choose. Well, you can, if you update some reports, you can choose those for them so they're not constantly calling. Or if you have a report that you run all the time, you can update it and put the filters in automatically so when you run it, it doesn't even pop up any kind of filters. So I could come in here and say school year and high school, don't prompt for value. Next time I run this, I'll go ahead and hit OK on this. So when I run the report, it's not going to show me any of those filters because I already have them set for my report. Go ahead and close that. So that's kind of nice too, that you can set up reports that you always run to run the way that you want to run them without having to go through those filters. It just makes them quicker and faster to run. Okay, so let's get into emailing a report. So you get a call from a coworker or your boss and they say, oh, I'd love to have that report sent to me. Can you send it to me right away? So instead of running the report and then turning around and downloading it and emailing it to that person, you can automatically email it to them. So what you do on here is you come to find the report that you want, click on the little mini menu button. You're going to click email report, and you're going to put in that person's email address. Now you can only email this to one person. So if you have multiple people to email it to, you can either do a schedule report where you can email it to more than one person, or you can email it to yourself and then forward it on to those users. So I'm just going to say that I need to email this report to Laura. And it's going to ask you, how do you want to email? Do you want to email in an Excel file, a PDF file, an RTF file, or a CSV file? So I'm going to choose CSV. It's going to run me through all of the filters. I click OK. It tells me report will be emailed when completed. If I hit dismiss, all I'm doing is dismissing this message. I'm not dismissing the email or running the report. So I just hit dismiss, and I'll get that email, and I'll be able to, or the person will get the email and they'll be able to have that report. So that's kind of nice as well to run a report through there. So let's talk about scheduling a report. These are nice too. So if you run a report every Friday or once a month or annually, you can set these up to run automatically so you're not coming into the analytics hub all the time and looking for the reports and running the report. It'll just be emailed to you on the day that you want it emailed and at the same time that you want it emailed. The only thing that doesn't work is the date range, because obviously if you, oh, I want to know what happened last week, we're setting those filters up at the schedule, so you can't. I mean, you could go in and set up every single one of them for the week if you wanted, but then you'd have like 52 different scheduled reports for student analysts by date range. So those ones are really difficult to do. But if I want to schedule a report, again, I choose the report that I want. I click on the mini menu and I click schedule report. So we're on the recurrent tab. I'm going to have to schedule the name. So I'm going to call this daily absent detail. I'm going to say, how do you want it exported? So you have your 4 choices there. If it's a PDF or an Excel, you can put an optional password on there. If you do decide to put a password on the report, you need to make sure that you communicate that with the user users that are receiving that report. They won't be able to open it if not. But if you choose an RTF report or a CSV report, there is no password. If I choose to execute it immediately, all of these other options go away. So this is what you would choose if you want to email it out to more than one person. So for now, I'm going to say I don't want to execute it immediately because I want to go through all of these with you. So here you're going to pick out what time of the day you want this report to run. I'm going to click the clock. I'm going to choose the time. So I want this to come to me at 7 o'clock every Monday, we'll say. If I hit repeat every hour, it's going to run that report every hour until whatever time. So you probably don't want to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and uncheck that. Then I come down here to the recurrence pattern. So I only want to send it once and schedule a date. So I want to send it daily, every weekday, every 2 days. So I want to send it weekly. I want this report every week, or I can say every other week, or every 3 weeks. I'm going to say every week on Monday. I can do it monthly, first day of the month. Or I can do like second Monday of every month. Day 1 of every month, day 3. So every time it's the 3rd day of the month. My unlock wasn't on. Or annually, I want to send it. I want this report every, let's just say August 5th. I get back to school in August. I want this report in my email every year. But I'm going to go with weekly, every Monday, 7 a.m. When do I want this to start? I want this to start Monday, April 6th. And I'm going to say no end date. I can put an end date in because if you know, we're going to go to filters next. And so I'm going to filter on the 1920 school year. You can end it at the end of the school year if you want, and then come in and redo all of these setups. But my suggestion is to do no end date. And then just at the beginning of the year, come into your scheduled report manager and change those filters. And I'll show you more about that once I finish setting this up. So I'm going to keep it. It's going to start April 6th, no end date. And I'm going to click next. I can also just hit the filters tab. I'm going to go ahead and click next. It's going to bring me to the filters. I could add more filters onto that if I want. But I'm going to go ahead and say 1920 school year. I'm going to choose the high school. And I'm going to choose the status. Then I'm going to click next. And this is basically, I do want the results emailed. Who do you want to send it to? So I'm going to send it to myself here. This automatically comes up as a scheduled ad hoc report. I always like to put the name of the report behind it. And another thing that I like to do is to come into the body of the message. So this is the body of the message down here, and put this report was generated automatically by and scheduled by Laura McManus. If you have any issues, please contact me. Thank you. So my contact information. So this is nice too, because even if there's no results found, they're going to get an email that says scheduled ad hoc reports, and all the body's going to say is no information found. So they're going to be like, why did I get this? What report was it supposed to be? Who set this up? I need to quit getting these emails, all that good stuff. So I think that this is smart to put this information in there so that your staff doesn't get confused, or yourself doesn't get confused. Because I set these up within different districts, and I couldn't find where it came from. This is how I came up with the idea. And all it said was scheduled ad hoc report, and it kept coming back as no result. So I had no clue where it was coming from, what district. So I had to go in and try to find that report and then delete it. So it is helpful for yourself as well as us. So now that I have this all finished, I can go ahead and say finish. I'm going to say report has been scheduled. I'm going to click dismiss to dismiss that message. And now it's gone. So I can come over here to the manage scheduled report, click on it, and you're going to see that I have two of them in here. I have the one that I just made. It's going to tell me the name of the schedule. It's going to tell me what type, so it's a weekly, what the name of the report was. This is the one that I did. The date it was last executed, when it's going to be executed next, and how many times it's been executed. If I want to make changes to this, I can just simply click on the pencil. It'll start me on that reoccurrence tab. Say I want to change it, I don't want it on Mondays, I want it on Tuesday. Got my filters. I've got my recipients. Say that I'm not the principal anymore who asked for it. I could just pull out that information, put the new person there. On the filters, I can change. This is what I was talking about for next year. You can just come in and change it to the next school year. Hit finish. Tells me it's been updated. And then I can come back into this report, go to my filters, change the school year to next school year. It's not going to have it in there because there's no attendance for that day or for the school year. You might have to wait until school starts on a few of these. And then hit finish again. So now, once I go through all my scheduled reports, I'll have them all set up for the following school year, making changes to the principal names, all that good stuff. If I'm totally done with this report, never going to have it scheduled again, I can hit the red X for delete this row. I'm going to go ahead and do that. It's going to say, are you sure you're going to delete this? Yes, okay. Here it's going to say deleted. It'll sit there for a little bit. And then I'm going to come in here and say, I'm going to come in here and say, delete scheduled absence detail. I'm going to click OK again. And it's got it deleted again. If I hit refresh, that should be done. So now it's all gone. that is the end of this recording. Thank you. If you have any questions, please feel free to submit a ticket to HCC or call our student line at 513-728-7997. Thank you and have a great day.